is? How's it going, everybody? Today we're going to be doing a review of Prey, the newest Predator movie that's not named Predator in the Predator franchise, coming out on Hulu. We're going to talk about all the things. We're going to talk about hunting, being invisible, out here with that bear strength. And the only way for you to listen to what we have to say is to sit back, relax, grab a snack, grab a beverage, and listen on in to the first ones to die.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the First Ones to Die podcast. I am one of your hosts, Jonathan, here with my two friends, Alex and Jerome. How are y'all doing? How you doing, Alex?
I'm good.
Caught you right as you put some popcorn in your mouth.
I'm getting snack shamed.
I didn't shame you for the snack.
Jerome was the one who snack
you
shamed.
You eating it into the microphone. That's a different thing. It's not, the popcorn has nothing to do with the etiquette.
It felt like
of being having the microphone.
I backed you up, Alex. I said,
I did.
hey, at least she could be swallowing the mic right now, so at least she's not doing that.
That's just because as a child, Jonathan, you've been like out here doing commercials for Disney and whatnot. And snack, and like probably plenty of snack places. So
the audience does not know what we're talking about. They do not know that reference. So now they think that I was a child Disney Channel star.
You look like one though.
Check out Phil the Future. Jonathan's in an episode in the background. If you blink, you would miss him. So go ahead, all of you Phil the Future fans, go out there and look at every single episode so you could spot Jonathan.
Or if you were too, or if you can afford cable, some of us couldn't. Go to PBS Zoom. You'll find them in one of those crowds.
I low-key, I always wanted to be on that show as a kid, but I didn't live in Boston, so I couldn't. And then and then it got canceled like right as I was turning like I think 12, which was like the average age of the kids on there. So I was mad.
Look at episode Between the Lions. You'll see Jonathan on there.
Oh, I love Between the Lions.
Reading at a 5th grade level in 3rd grade. He was doing a great job. And he will be missed on Between the Lions. Yes.
Thank you.
What about you, Jerome? Other than whatever's going on right there, how you been?
Good. I'm chilling. I've been kind of just chillaxing, excited for Comic-Con. In fact, when this comes out, the week of, I will be in Comic-Con Thursday and Friday. I know, Alex, you're gonna be there. You said 3 days, right? Not all 4.
I'm gonna be there all 4, but on Sunday I'm usually there only half day. Okay. Around the time they're packing up, because I like to go and get the sales. They're giving like a bunch of comics for like $5 and stuff like that. So
if you're in the area in Seattle going to Emerald City Comic-Con, you might see us there. If you do see us there and you're a fan of the podcast, come say hi, get a picture or whatever. We don't have fans like that, so this would be a nice like change of pace.
Now there's somebody somewhere who has a First Ones to Die poster in their wall, and they're just gonna be like, oh, they don't care about me.
What, the one that doesn't exist? Right, where the hell did they get a poster from?
Hold up,
they made their own. That's how dedicated they are. They made fan posters.
First of all, we appreciate you. Comment below if you have your own fan art of us. First of all, we'd love to see it, and as long as it's appropriate. And and then and secondly, we appreciate you. Thank you for listening to us be insane every week. It's been very appreciated. But other than that, everything else has been chill. Been watching Paper Girls and reading Paper Girls. Like, I'm far ahead in the series that I'm like, or in the book, like, because I have the complete book series in like a trade, so I don't think the show is ever going to get that far with this first season. So I feel safe enough to watch it. So I've been watching that. Just watched Day Shift, the new Jamie Foxx movie on Netflix, where he's out here hunting vampires. And
What?
Oh, I do want to see that. I do want to see that. No spoilers.
It's no spoilers, Jonathan, but I'm gonna just talk to Netflix real quick. There's a reason y'all are not doing well financially, and it's movies like Day Shift and The Gray Man that are why. Because y'all are spending all this money on these movies that are very okay at best. I'm sorry, I love Jamie Foxx. He does a great job. Jamie Foxx is the best.
Just everybody else.
And Snoop.
But it's just
Franco.
Snoop is actually pretty good.
Oh
Snoop
my god,
actually,
is that the movie
is
where
pretty
Snoop Dogg?
decent.
Oh my god.
That was a legit surprise. Not
They
because
have
and it's not because Snoop, because I expect Snoop to just be Snoop in every movie he's in, but he is actually acting. Like I haven't seen Snoop do a performance like this since like Baby Boy, where he's like actually a character. He's not just being Snoop Dogg in a movie. At least not till like the end. Like the last act. Then he pretty much is just Snoop Dogg.
One of the reasons I got Netflix back was because I saw Netflix was turning Snoop Dogg into a vampire hunter. I didn't know it was this movie. I want to watch this movie then.
Anyway, Alex.
No, we already went through me and my snacking.
Okay.
How are you, Jonathan? What's going on with your life?
I'm doing good. I haven't taken advantage of my my AMC A-list pass this week. So maybe I might watch something.
See,
tomorrow.
I told you bought that pass. Have you used it yet?
I've literally watched 4 movies this month, which I've already paid for, which has already paid for the pass for the month. So anyways, and I'm about to watch a 5th one tomorrow, maybe. But I've been watching some reality TV, some Big Brother, some Love Island. There's this new show called Claim to Fame, hosted by Kevin Jonas and Frankie Jonas, the 2 of the Jonas brothers. Frankie is
what the hell is Frankie?
Frankie's the youngest one.
He's the bonus Jonas. They called him the bonus Jonas back in the day.
He's the Luke Hemsworth of the family.
No, he's got his own weird like fan circle around him. And
I know he has a big like following on TikTok, I think. You follow him?
That's the only Jonas brother I'm willing to follow.
I couldn't believe, like, when he started hosting the show, I couldn't believe how much old, because I remember him when he was like a kid. And now he's like, he got the facial hair. I'm like, what? Who would
you an adult? What?
I know.
I hate feeling that.
I know. But the show is very, like, surprisingly good. Like, it's basically the premise of the show is it's kind of like a mix of Big Brother and The Masked Singer. And you have these 12 celebrity relatives, and they're trying to guess who each other are, like who each other is related to. One person gets eliminated each week, and then there's a winner at the end. And they're about halfway through. And it's it's like such a fun show. It is like a really good show. Nice. Yeah, I'll tease some of the celebrity relatives. We have a Zendaya relative. We have a Keke Palmer relative. We also have a Chuck Norris relative. Those are just
that's such a weird category to put together. Let's get these 2 really relevant actresses, really high fame claim right now, very in there, and then Chuck Norris's like brother or something.
But it's a very fun show. I also today I did a little book browsing. I usually don't buy books this is my secret. I usually don't buy books at Barnes and Noble. I go there all the time, but I usually don't buy books. I usually just take a picture of the cover and then buy it on like a cheaper website.
You bastard.
Yeah. Hey, Barnes and Noble don't need my money.
No, they do.
I'll give it to I'll support independently. But but they had a 50% off sale today. So I bought this book called Heat Wave. It's very thin. It's only like 100 pages. And this book that I have been perusing, I've been seeing on line. It's called The Ark. It's apparently like Black Mirror-ish.
Neat cover.
Yeah, I really like the cover. So
I want to get the book Glad My Mother's Dead by that one
Jeanette McCurdy.
Yeah,
I've seen that's been blowing up on
a lot of people have been talking about it. A lot of people been talking.
Well,
it's gonna be number one.
Yeah, well, she turned down Nickelodeon's Hush Money to publish this book for one, and then two, she's already mentioned I've heard her on some podcasts talking about like people are like, oh, aren't you like people are talking about how being offended about the title of the book. But then she's like, well, why? It has nothing to do. If you're a good parent, the title shouldn't bother you. I was like, oh shit.
Also, it's like it's my mom. I can say whatever I want.
Yeah.
Like if people can let Eminem talk all the smack he talked about his mom unabated, like you can
a
let
lot
Jeanette
of
McCurdy
rappers ended up not having like a problem with him. He's like, he talks shit about his own mama. Like we got nothing on him. Like, we can't say anything.
We can't see.
We can't do anything. We can't go after his family.
We've seen
he already
8 Mile.
went at them.
He makes fun of the fact that he's white trash.
Yeah, it's like we can't go after his family. He already went after them.
There's a whole song about him killing his baby mama. All right, there's nothing we could do.
He's like, oh, we can make fun of that. He's got like bleach cropped hair. No, he already did that, and he sang a song about how he looks like every white man. Yeah, just like I learned from the podcast, I learned a few things, and just like she's like, well, there's a reason for the title, and she gave a bunch of examples of what like basically how her mom screwed her over. I was like, shit. I was like, girl, I can kind of understand why you would name that title that way. Like her mom definitely did like take advantage of her in the situation and all the things she had to go through. And I can see also, definitely why she didn't want to be on the iCarly reunion or the revamp.
Yeah, because it's like they left the door open for that character to return. But I'm like, I think Jeanette McCurdy, just because of her terrible experience in the acting world, she's probably never going to do that. And unless it's like back something to really like a really good deal.
Yeah, and to return back to like a place that was significantly traumatic in her life. Yeah. But I've been dying to get that book. I know it's not at the Barnes and Nobles near me, and I have to go, but it is available at Bellevue. So I can either get it tomorrow at the Bellevue Barnes and Nobles or order it online and wait a few days, which honestly, they shut down one of the roads going to like down I-90. And then I have to either that or, take the 520, which is a toll pay. I think I might just order it online.
Yeah.
It is not worth the travel. I want to read that book, but it is not worth an hour drive to Bellevue right now. And that's all just sitting in traffic.
Yeah. Well, all right. Shall we get to our topic of the day? Today, we are going to be reviewing the new Hulu film called Prey.
Those who remember the OG Predator theme.
In short, Prey is the origin story of the Predator in the world of the Comanche Nation 300 years ago. It stars, and let me get to the cast, Amber Midthunder, Dakota Beavers, Dane DeLiegro, Stormy Kipp, many other people, directed by Dan Trachtenberg. I saw that, and I should have been more prepared in pulling up the specific number of the article, but I saw that this is Hulu's most watched movie or TV series premiere ever, ever, which
sense.
Is very impressive considering all of the Hulu content that has been
it's like out. A Hulu show that's like been popular, like really popular.
Probably only Murders in the Building.
I haven't watched season 2, and I've been beating myself up about it.
Me neither.
But you know what though? Here's the thing is like they don't have the legacy though. That's like a new show with like has to build an audience.
But it's so good.
You're making a Predator thing. Predator has a built-in audience from the comic book world, from the movie world. Like it has an extremely big built-in audience, and people have been dying for a new Predator movie that's good because the last one, The Predator, was trash. Like nobody liked it. It's so bad.
I feel like you say that people have been dying for, but like it's like people who are dying for a good Godzilla film.
I thought it was.
People
I
die
thought
for
it
that
was
too.
all right. I thought Predator, the last one. I remember it released when we worked at IMAX, and I thought it was all right. I don't remember much about it.
It was bad,
but
that's my take on it.
But this one, Prey. Basically, if you've never listened to our film reviews before, how this works is that we first give our general thoughts. We won't go into too much detail. We'll give you a warning, and then we will go into spoiler territory where we will deep dive into all of our thoughts about the movie. So who wants to go first? Jerome, I feel like you have thoughts.
Okay. I thought this movie was pretty good. Yeah, thank you, Alex. You know, I feel like you know me. You know, now you see my baby pictures. Now you know my history and me in the present.
In all the generations.
That's right. Yeah, this movie is it's good. It's one of those things where I think it really utilizes very well its setting and premise. Especially with the Comanche tribe. I do wish they had them just speaking Comanche the whole time instead of English, but I get it. It's like, you know, you're making a movie for a North American audience that you're going to have everyone speaking North American. So that's, yeah, or speaking English.
So,
I mean, you're not wrong with the North American like language.
Yeah. But overall though, I think it's cool that we get to see the tribe. We get to see a lot of their culture. The way they operate, not too much, you know, we don't do like this isn't like a historical like deep dive because, you know, it's a Predator movie, but it's enough to at least feel like there is some representation here, and it feels like they honestly took the time to do some research on how the Comanche operate and like how they would hunt and that sort of thing. I think the cast is pretty good, and I think the guy who's playing the Predator, even though he doesn't say anything, of course, I think he has a great physicality to him. You know, whenever you have people playing like Predators or, any slasher movie villain, it's always cool to have a person that has presence. And I feel like the guy here playing this Predator has presence, which, speaking of the Predator here is really cool. I love that it's very much like, you know, Predator as you know him with like the technology and everything, but it's clearly like older. It's not the same technology that is in the first Predator movie or any of the ones that came after that movie. It looks older. It looks more like a dated version. So I'm like, that's kind of cool. It's like it feels like this is kind of like first gen version of all of the Predator stuff that we're used to. But I think my only criticism, if I have to say one, is that I think there are times where this movie has some of the cliche stuff that gets a little annoying from time to time for me, mainly with Amber Midthunder's character, whose name is Naru. Just in that she's that stereotypical, like, I want to hunt, but you're not good at it, but I wanna. Okay. And for a lot of the movie, she is not good. Like, and it's just so there's a lot of times where the movie wants you to root for her, but I'm like, I'm not rooting for this girl. She's trying to fight an alien species, and she's not good at the one thing she wants to do. Some people are just not destined to do what you want to do, and like she's like, the movie doesn't help her at all. But then near the end, it kind of like circumvents that and does its own things, and I think redeems itself in that way. So overall, I think this is a good Predator sequel. And it does make me wonder if maybe this is the direction they'll go with Predator sequels, or prequels, I guess, in the future, or maybe like the next one will take place during Viking times or take place in feudal Japan with samurai or something like that. So it's an interesting way to do a Predator sequel. I like it. So that's my thoughts without spoiling anything.
Go on, Jonathan.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I don't, like we just said, or like we just talked about, I don't really remember much about the last Predator movie. But what I enjoy about franchises in general, when they do this, I really like. I like when they take another look at the same object. So like this is another look at the predator from a different point of view. This is a tone shift. It's a setting shift. It's a time period shift. And that for that, I really appreciate. You know, we have a mostly Native American cast, which you don't really get ever, at least for, you know, American film. You don't really get like native casts that often, which I really appreciate. And side note, I was just looking at the cast, and the guy who plays the Predator in this movie, he just became an actor like a few years ago. He was a former basketball player, which is really interesting. Dane DeLegro. So that's really cool. I thought he did a great job in the role of the Predator there.
Oh, so that is really a giant man.
Yeah, he's 6'9".
I mean, you of course you don't hire someone who's like short to be.
Well, I didn't think short, but I didn't know he was like a giant. There was a giant man in that suit. Assume they give him like, you know, steps or heels or something.
No, you just hire someone that height. That's what they do for Michael Myers. They always like hire someone that's actually that height and that size.
Fair.
Yeah. But I enjoyed it. I liked the action. I liked I liked the emotion of it. I got really not, I didn't get emotional, but like I was invested at certain points. The story itself, it was kind of, it went like this and then like that. I wish it would have gone more like that, or even like this.
So for all the audio listeners, he wants it to go like this, but he doesn't want it to go like that. You know, that's how he feels about the story.
I think we all can relate to that.
Apologies to audio listeners.
It was a little feel that.
It was a. I'll describe my my like this and like that and like this and like that. It was a little flat.
Like that and like this.
Anyway. It was a little one note for me with a little bit of amping up at the end. I wish it would have amped up a little, even. I wish it would have amped up a lot more, or even been a little bit longer and had more time to, you know, decompress from certain moments and then give us more action later on. But I enjoyed it nonetheless. How about you, Alex?
I enjoyed this film. I will, full disclosure, I was stoned and I was drinking a little bit when I watched this film. Be that as may, I paid attention.
Didn't stop doing the TikToks though.
Did you see them? Did you see it?
Of course I did. I watched all of them. I watched, but also, like real quick, to the internet's credit, if this goes up on TikTok, all right, y'all got to understand, Alex is has a very dry wit to her. All right, y'all need to leave, because I did feel a certain type of way. All them people bullying you or trying to, because you were like, the Predator's not invisible, and it was like the Predator's not that invisible, and everyone's like, well, it's for the movie, it's for the audience, so we can. Yes, obviously.
Although I did appreciate. Hold on, I did appreciate. Let me pull up their name real quick. I did appreciate Logan Shane __, which not the best name, probably looks really young in his photo, asking if I was okay. He's like, you okay? You know what, you're the only one that clearly saw that something wasn't right. Plus I think I posted more on Instagram where I was like, oh, dramatic. So I was in a state, but I enjoyed the film. It got my heart racing, and I think you are kind of wrong about her hunting skills, because, and I'll get more into that in spoilers. I think there was clear-cut signs that she was actually a very good hunter, but her practice was not allowed to be placed in because she had shown skills in such other different departments, and they wanted her to be that in these other parts of the tribe. or she could be deemed more useful than in hunting. And I get that. You need to put your strengths where they are for, for the betterment of the tribe or for the betterment of everybody you're together. But it did annoy me how they kept treating her. She's like, well, if y'all just taught me this way and y'all helped me this way, I would stop saying. It was also like the lack of effort from everybody else. They also did not help her when she wanted to achieve this goal. The predator itself, again, did not know that that man was just a tall man. That freaks me out even more. And to everybody on TikTok, I am very well aware that he is the way he is so that we can see him as viewers, as an audience. And now I'm just gonna do a little smoking and drinking before other movie reviews because that was fun. I made a lot of people worried about that. I didn't realize that. I think the Predator mimicked what he saw when he was fighting. I will say I respect the Predator because he used almost the same weapons as that he was being used against. He made a fair fight. Spears. He threw a lot of those.
How many Predator movies have you seen, Alex?
I've seen actually all of them, surprisingly.
Okay, cool.
But he didn't use the spears the way he uses the spears in another one. Weirdly enough, right after that one, immediately Predator versus Alien started playing, and I watched that. You want to talk about ridiculous? That movie
bad movie.
It's terrible.
Well, if you want to laugh, watch the second one that came right after. That one is even worse.
So yes. the Predator movies go as in order. Predator 1987, Predator 2 1990, Predator versus Alien versus Predator 2004, Predator versus Alien Requiem 2007, Predators 2010, The Predator, which I fucking hate when people just use the at the beginning for new titles, 2018, and then Prey 2022. But how you're supposed to chronologically watch them is Prey 2022, then Predator, then Predator 2, Alien versus Predator, Alien versus Predator Requiem, Predators, and then The Predator. Which is still all terrible movies.
Prey in front of the original.
Which I'm so confused to why they needed to make a list for that for you to understand.
Right.
There's multiple lists.
Now I'm remembering the Predator. Olivia Munn, Keegan-Michael Key. Yeah, I remember her. I remember Olivia Run Money. I remember Olivia.
What the hell? Who the hell is that?
Olivia running?
I don't remember her being in the movie.
It's an actress we never knew of.
I know Olivia Munn was in the movie. I don't know who this other person is.
I remember Olivia Munn running. Not Olivia Run. Okay, should we get into spoilers?
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. This is your spoiler warning. Now, okay, I'm just gonna throw this right on out there. I haven't read any articles, commentary. I haven't heard anybody talk about this movie other than us. Do we think, I'm gonna go there. Do we think that there is some deeper meaning? Or maybe the meaning is obvious with the Predator and colonization?
Yeah.
No.
I don't
so.
You guys, Jerome says no, Alex says yes, right at the same time.
Because the whole, Predator has always been Predators, at least going off the original movie, it's always been about the idea of man's hubris, always thinking we're the apex predators at all times. And then lo and behold, the Predator shows up and it's just like, let me show you what a real apex predator looks like, which is why he's called that. He's called the Predator because he's the new apex predator in that film. And it's why that cast was picked, where you got Arnold Schwarzenegger, Jesse Ventura, Carl Weathers, these muscle bound, buff, manly dudes. And all of them have been reduced to sniveling children because they're facing off against something they can't see, are very ill-equipped to fight, and is a non-stop killing machine. so for this movie, I feel like it's the same thing, but from a different perspective, because not only like it's not just about hubris of man, because he fights the French colonizers who were there in North America, but also it's also about the idea of I think in a way it's kind of like a coming of age story, because for Naru it's like this is her, like they keep talking about like her test, her big thing that'll put her in that hunter position. Like you got to hunt something that's hunting you, and if you can kill it, like you are a true like hunter and survivalist and all that stuff. And the predator is her challenge, because for one, like her hubris, and I think that's why she's so bad in the beginning, is her hubris getting the better of her, of like, I'm a hunter, and it's like, no, you're not a hunter yet, not fully. Like you've got the skills,
well they put it
but
the
you
whole
don't have, but you got to like put it, you got to implement it, and you have to like fully commit and do it.
Well, they said you don't hunt to kill, you hunt to survive. And she was trying to hunt to kill. Her big thing was, I'm going to kill the big cat, I'm going to kill this, until she figured out that like, no, I need to be smart and I got to survive before I can kill.
So I think that was more the like theme of, because that's been the theme in almost every Predator movie, is like the overcoming of your hubris, and what will you do when you are pushed to the point of needing to fighting to survive, not just fighting to be the dominant force over whatever it is you're trying to kill.
I can say like movies definitely can have like two meanings easily. I think the colonization thing wasn't there because a lot of the talk is that Native Americans had primitive weapons, they had primitive this, blah blah blah. When it came down to it, even their advanced weaponry, such as guns and things of that nature, were no use against the predator. It was, in the end, it was knowledge of the land, knowledge of medicine, because she was able to make her blood run cold so he couldn't see her. The intricate weapons she designed in that moment needed from what was around her. So I think it's also that too. The colonizers couldn't win because their weapons weren't going to work. They didn't know where they were really. They didn't know the land. She knew exactly where to make the predator sink. So all that stuff. So that's a little bit where I'm like, the colonization part does come into play, because people are like, oh, it's primitive. Yeah, but look how well it can work. Look how knowledge can truly make you the best in the end. And that's what benefited her. That's what benefited her.
Every Predator movie, though, because literally that's how Arnold won in the first one.
Right, and I'm saying the movie can have two messages.
He uses his own primitive,
and
that's stuff.
That's what I'm saying. Like the reason I asked that was because, yes, even if it does follow the like traditional Predator kind of formula, the difference is that the Predator is invading this community of Native people, and they're trying to protect their resources and protect themselves. And that combined with the idea that you have, or the kind of visuals that you have with the Predator, just taking no prisoners and slaughtering people left and right. And so that's kind of the difference for me, in that, like, even though maybe if you just had a community of people where it was like they were like, you had many different ethnicities or many different communities in one setting, whereas this, it kind of makes you think of a different meaning, and it makes you think of going back to them days when people went on to somebody else's land and then just slaughtered people and left.
Although I do feel like this movie, like what's it called? A lot of the main character in this movie has plot armor for real, for a lot of it, because there are multiple points where I'm like, the Predator could have killed you right now if he wanted to, but because you're the main character, that's not gonna happen, and he would just let her go.
There's another part of that story that
she wasn't a threat.
Yeah,
that was
that was another thing I really liked, was that before the
Predator movies, he has a code, so I get it.
Well, yeah. So that kind of makes sense because her whole thing was that you can be a threat without looking like a you can be a threat without looking like a threat. And I like that theory because I will admit I was a bit more menacing in my younger years. Something about me, I don't know. And I like
We've
that
seen your baby
idea.
pictures. We know the deal.
Look, I don't know why people always had to hold me. You don't have to hold a baby all the time. Clearly, if they're not enjoying it, put them down. It's that whole like now I often try to present myself as non-threatening. And I like that idea where people are like, yeah, we don't ever feel threatened. I like that idea. However, I am still very much of a threat on necessary occasions, but the presenting of not threatening, I like that idea, and I think that was really well used. At least in this movie, I don't recall the other Predator movies where they use that, but in this movie, it was really good because she used her non-threatening as a advantage, and that's another thing about this movie is just everything she figured out was just used to her advantage. It was letting go of that hubris of like all I have to do is strike and kill. It was like, okay, I have to think logically. Okay, he can't see me if I'm cold. It was a blood running cold thing. It was very smart. And I didn't know there was a flower that could do that. That's freaky. Plants are weird, man. Plants scare me.
Well,
Nature
they had to
scares
figure
me.
something else out because they've already done, like, both in the first Predator movie and Predators, they've already done the whole, well, if I put mud on myself, it'll cool my body temperature down. They could not do that a third time. Like, they had to find
But that's
something
not
else
even
different to do.
accurate thing, though.
I mean, it's not, but it works for the movie.
Yeah, so those people should have been dead because they didn't technically cool themselves down. They schooled their, but like your internal temperature. By the way, you guys should try the sensory deficit tanks. Deficit tanks. I love those.
Deprivation.
Oh, like the float
Deprivation.
tanks?
I love them.
I've wanted to do that.
I've done them a few times. It's really cool. It's really trippy because the temperature of the water is the same temperature as your internal temperature. And you have a choice. You can be in the dark, you don't have to be in the dark. A couple times. The first time I couldn't be in the dark the entire time. It kind of freaked me out too much. Afterwards, though, being in the dark, all silent, just you can't the body is the same temperature as the water, and the water is the same temperature as the body. It is trippy and it's really cool. And you're just kind of floating there. I thought it'd be weird, but you're just floating there.
Like humans keep finding new ways to sleep ever closer to mimic a coffin. Just like why when you have a perfectly good mattress at home, would you then decide to be like, you know what I want to do? I want to get a big tank of water and just be in there in the dark.
I don't think
I
don't think they're for
dead.
sleeping long term.
I just want to
be. I think it's for like an hour max.
Yeah, it's like an hour.
I don't
max.
care. It shouldn't be for any millisecond.
You know why?
Any time.
Because some of us had some serious trauma in their childhood, where that shit is more comforting than a bed. All right, it works.
Going to a therapist.
I already have. I took my medication right before we started this. All right. Clearly, it's not helping that much.
Yeah, Alex.
I like this Predator.
Back to the movie.
Just moving on. I think this Predator is cool. I love that it's because they've been promoting that apparently this story is supposed to be the first ever Predator to come to the planet Earth. In fact, the colonial rifle or pistol that she has in this movie is awarded to Danny Glover's character in Predator 2. That's how this movie connects to the rest, which is sad because that then tells me that she's probably going to die at some point. Like another Predator is going to show up in her future, kill her,
if you want
and take that pistol
if you
and
want
give
the
it
end
to
credits.
Danny Glover.
Yeah. The end credits.
See, I tried to look at an end credit scene. I didn't see one.
So I didn't I stopped the movie right as the credits started rolling, so I didn't know. But I looked.
So I did watch it. So at the end, during the credits, they are showing like paintings. I don't know if they're cave paintings. They're showing paintings. Yeah, okay. High paintings. Thank you. And at the very end, it actually shows 3 predators walking off the spaceship. The paintings. So she only killed 1. There were 2 more. I almost
Flipped off the camera.
Yeah, I was like about to... So she has 2 more predators following in the end credits.
That's a cool way of doing it though, like ominous, like.
But I like this predator because I like the idea that because it's their first time on this planet, he doesn't know anything about this planet. He doesn't even know people exist. He just knows there's creatures on this planet for me to hunt. So he slowly works his way up. Like he's like sees a rabbit, but then he hunts a wolf and he thinks like, oh, this is the apex predator. I'm gonna take this out. And then he fights a bear.
Skinned a snake.
Yeah, he skinned a snake. Like he's trying to figure out like who is the most dangerous thing on this planet. And then when he meets man, he's like, oh, okay, got you. There are other hunters on this planet. Cool. Those are the most dangerous things on this planet. Although that bear was at least holding their own. The bear held up a better fight than the goddamn colonial.
Although I was kind of rooting against the bear because the bear was getting a little too aggressive. Like I've never.
The bear had a right to be aggressive. The bear was just chilling, doing his thing, and Naru, most unexperienced hunter there is just like, I'm gonna shoot it. And
it was charging her.
She did. It was just like, I know damn well you did not.
No, the bear was running towards her. She had every right to shoot the bear. The bear was running towards her.
That's because she sicked the dog on him.
No, the dog was stupid and just ran off on his own. By the way, I'm so happy they didn't kill the dog.
Kept walking.
I know, me too.
I was so happy they didn't kill the dog. Although like too many times got me.
This is not the most PETA friendly movie. Like with all of the
none of those animals are real. They're all CG animals anyway. So
yeah. But hey, tell that to Peter.
Fuck PETA. They kill animals all the time.
Also,
okay, we're going there.
Okay. Well, we just lost our PETA sponsorship.
Good.
I think like also the predator is an alien creature, right? There's no time where the predator will never exist in real life, so it's all good, you know. He just
never say never.
Animals are safe from the predator.
Please knock on wood right now, Jerome.
But it's just I like that bear fight was pretty cool. I was like, because we don't get to see the predator fight animals. We always see him fight people. So it's like interesting to see him fight animals and animals that can actually fight back. Like the wolf didn't stand a chance, but the bear was like, I am just as big as you and just as strong. Watch this. Yeah.
I will say,
I want the paws. You fitting to get the paws.
I want to hug a bear. It's not possible, and I'm well aware of this.
But
like, I want to. I like in my last moments. I want to be like 90 years old. I want to find a bear, hug it, and that's how I die.
I mean, they can trank it, and then you can hug the bear.
That's not the same. I want the bear to squeeze me.
It's the same. It might as well be because
I want the bear to squeeze me back until like I die. I want to die by a bear hug.
By bear.
Bear hug.
Also, why does the predator invade our territory and then acts like we're the threat? Because I'm like,
it's more like it lives for the hunt. Like it lives for like that's what it lives for is to have those exciting battles.
But like, shouldn't there like in space and whatever? Shouldn't there be more enticing? Yeah, actually, like
there was a movie.
They're called Xenomorphs and they suck. They're harder to kill.
No, it was in Predator. It was in Predators. 2010. I know. My accent comes out once in a great while. Where they actually got like it was a hunting ground. They have an area where there's
but that's later in the future. This is in back in this time during Prey.
So they're just trying to find people?
That planet probably didn't exist yet. And if we're going by Predator lore from the comics, they probably haven't found Xenomorphs yet either. So they don't really have.
Does the Predators
bigger game
come from the comics, or are the comics coming from the Predator?
No, the Predator, the movie came first, and then they started making a bunch of comics. In fact, a lot of the Alien versus Predator stuff was in comics first before they ever made the movies. But they're 10 times better than any of the movies. All the Alien versus Predator comics, 10 times better. They're so good.
I really liked how they made the Predator look this round because, like I said, right after this Predator or Prey, Alien versus Predator came up. Those chrome looking motherfuckers. I don't know what was going on there, but they were like, it was.
This one was very scary looking too.
Yeah, this one was terrifying.
I just wish it was practical. That's my only wish. Like, because I love the like Predator 1, 2, and even Predators. They actually had people in suits, like a practical Predator suit, even with the mask, with the animatronics for the mandibles and everything. And so having the all CG Predator here was like, I don't know. Like, I mean, there were some scenes that I think were practical that was him in a suit, but like when he took the mask off and stuff, I'm like, it would have been nice if he had just a practical mask apparatus. But it is what it is.
All I know is that
cool,
they got his hair laid or whatever that is. Whatever is that hair or is the extension of his head?
Is the Predator look since the OG days? All right, the Predators like they locks. I'm not gonna lie, them colonialists had it coming though. Like they thought for sure they had it in the bag, and the Predator was like, I was dealing with them Comanche people back in there, and they thought they was bad, but this is gonna be fun right here. This is just like a whole Predator buffet.
Also, they sliced up my boy's stomach for no reason at all, which made me mad.
You should have left Tabo alone.
Her brother was cool. I liked her brother.
I really liked his character.
I think he was a good character. Like, I think because it's not that he didn't discourage her, but he was like a realist where he's like, the problem isn't that you can't hunt. I know what you can do. You've got the skills. You are just too eager. Like the fact of the matter is, it's like, yeah, you could have killed that mountain lion, and then you fell out of a tree and cracked your skull across a dang rock. If it wasn't for me, you'd be still bleeding out in the jungle. Like,
fun fact. I don't know if this is a fun fact, sad fact, or I don't know how you want to take it. But fun fact, the French are where my father comes from, Durango, and actually a long line come from Durango, can pinpoint. The French actually colonized that area.
Yeah. So that's what led to like stuff like the French Indian War.
No, I meant they're the ones who killed my ancestors. Not so much on the Spaniards on my father's side. It was the French who destroyed, going back to the Native American side of my family.
Yeah, it's like Spanish, French, and English.
Oh yeah, that's why I have mostly French and Spanish in me, because they colonized. Like I said, fun fact.
Is that how you want to take it? Or a literal fact?
I said how you want to take it.
Because
I don't. But there were too many tribes where the families pretty much they're gone, and I can't trace back to where it comes from. But that's a fun fact about Alex.
Do you know if these actors, if all the actors were Comanche, like if that's their native tribe?
No.
Well, let me see the Wikipedia.
I was actually looking at Dakota Beavers. His mom is Pueblo and Mexican, and his dad is English and Scottish.
Amber Midthunder, she's of Indigenous American descent. But it doesn't say the specific tribe.
Okay.
Michelle Thrush,
do a great job.
Yeah.
She is First Nation. She's Canadian. So another Indigenous person, but most of them are Indigenous, but it's just to where and if they're of the Comanche tribe.
Wait, Amber, I thought she was First Nation with Mexico.
It says she is of Indigenous American descent. Oh, and it says an enrolled member of the Fort Peck Sioux tribe.
Okay.
Which is in Montana.
I've learned so much about Native American culture being out in the Pacific Northwest, because in the Midwest, nothing's preserved. Nobody gives a shit about anything. It's mainly you learn about Irish and Polish culture out there and Mexican culture. Those are the main three. But out here, you learn a little more about Native American culture. And I like that. I've learned so much more. Like about, where certain tribes were. What?
Have you been to Tillamook Village?
No.
You should go. The last time I went was literally in 5th grade, but what I remember, it was fun. They have like they take you on a boat over there, like not a boat, but like a not a ship, but also not a boat.
Little
Anyway,
baby boat.
yeah, it's a like a ferry. They take you on a ferry over to over Tillamook Island. Did I say Tillamook Village?
Yeah, I was like, it's Tillamook Village
Tillamook.
or...
No, Tillicum. Sorry, not Tillamook. Tillicum Village.
Is it Tillamook like the cheese company?
Are you
right?
Are you gonna? Is it gonna take you still a minute to get the name? Because then there is Tillamook cheese in my fridge that I kind of want now. You said the word like over and over.
It is Tillicum Village. I said
okay.
I said Tillamook Village at first, but it's Tillicum Village. You go over there on this ferry, and they have like a performance that they do for you, and then you can also eat like a salmon meal over there as well. And it was pretty cool when I went in 5th grade.
I would love to go to one of the Pow Pows. I think it would be really cool. I am weary though, because unfortunately there is still a lot of racism and discriminations with Mexicans nowadays. And I'd hate to like make anybody feel uncomfortable, especially when again, still a lot of Mexicans are prejudiced and very critical of Native Americans, and it's just like I would like to embrace that culture because Mexico and Mexicans are basically just colonized Native Americans. You know, that's what it is. We were taken in by the Catholic Church and the different colonizers, and it would be nice to embrace that culture, even though I again don't get to know which tribes I come from, not unless I go to that area. And right now, from what my dad tells me, the cartel's got a good hold on it, so I I don't think it's safe for learning a lot about Alex and her fun life. It's not really safe to travel to that specific area right now, but I think it'd be cool to learn more. And after seeing this movie too, I realized I have no skills to survive in the wilderness at like all. Like in general, I don't know how to start a campfire. I should learn that. I'm a kind of a pyro, but I don't know how to start a campfire. That's bad. Or like build some.
It's all about friction. You got to like get like a stick and a log, and then like you know you gotta find it.
Log? Is the fire in the log?
No, you gotta make like a kind of like a divot in the log, then take that take like a stick, like a pretty thick one, and like spin it with your hands like this and rub it together, and it should spark. Like it will eventually, the friction will create heat that will eventually start to burn the wood, and then you gotta then get like enough kindling together to like
I was like, don't I need like leaves or something other than
like stuff like leaves, twigs, you know, small stuff to like feed the fire, and then just let it kind of burn from there. But then also you got to put stones in like a pit, like in a circular motion to help.
Wait, isn't the log going to be on fire? Or does the log just stay in the middle?
Log stays in the middle. You got to put the stones around it.
But the log's like up.
No. You don't stand the log up. No, you laid it on its side. On its side. You don't lay it up. You lay it on its side.
I gotta watch
like you using the side. I was a Boy Scout, so we learned stuff like that, like about to start fires.
We were sharing photos of us like in high school and being kids. I need you to like contact your mom and get us a photo of you in a Boy Scout uniform.
I don't know if my mom.
Your mom. I bet your mom does
somewhere.
I know I have.
I know I have one. I have one in my Boy Scout uniform. Somewhere around here.
I'm gonna need to see that because that's an adorable thought. But do you know how to put that into actual practice nowadays? Because none of us do.
I mean, some way.
And it's also like when are you gonna find yourself in the woods and just making a fire?
You never know, Jonathan. Listen, we survived the
No, I mean like right now, unless you're camping, like right now, like when are you in the woods enough to practice it?
I'm just saying when COVID, during the middle of COVID, everyone thought the apocalypse was just around the corner. So never know.
We got monkeypox now, so
that's true. Also, like respectfully, and I say this with love, I got a lot of white friends that like nature and shit. And they always want me to go on like hikes and go out with them and stuff. I should have space. I should know some stuff.
Besides, we should all be planning for forever in a get out type situation where we're stuck in a place with no, because there are multiple points in that movie where I was like, just go out into the woods and just start running. Don't even worry about the destination. Just
the most likely scenario where I'm likely to be practicing making a fire is if I was auditioning for Survivor. But I don't plan to.
And then
that.
they can't.
Or Naked and Afraid.
You know what reality show cutting in? I love both of you. I love both of you so much. I think you guys are really close to me, and you guys know a lot about me, and so does this podcast. But I support everything you guys do, and like I will always encourage you guys to do. I will always encourage you guys to do what you want. But if either of you go on Naked and Afraid, I will not watch that show for you guys. That is the one place I won't put. Like, I will put it on the computer to help with the ratings and like the viewing count. And awesome.
But you'll hide the tab.
But I ain't watching the show. I'll find other ways to support you guys. I love you, and I'll encourage, and I'll tell everybody you're on the show. But I ain't watching the show.
Come on, they don't show everything. They censor it at least.
Even blurred. I do not. Because sometimes blur misses a mark or something, and just like on the off chance the blur, the editor just makes one little. Just saying.
I can promise you, I'm not going on Naked and Afraid.
You should go on Naked and Afraid. A lot of times,
and I was just listening to a podcast today where someone said this. A lot of times, one person be quitting like midway through, and it's like the other person's on their own for the rest of the time.
Well, only for a little bit, and then they'll send somebody else to be with them sometimes, depending on the episode. Sometimes they send another person. Sometimes they don't. Sometimes it is just you by yourself for like the rest of the week until they come get you.
And then I know even on Survivor, where it's not as bad as Naked and Afraid, but people be getting like parasites and stuff. And like infection.
Just think about like bending over and something touching, like getting poison ivy on my butt because I decided to bend. I found a stick.
That is
There's not poison.
Like the least of your concerns. It should be.
That's
should be your
the
feet.
Weirdest.
You should be worried about your feet because you're walking around barefoot, and we're not like the generations before us where all they did was walk around barefoot. So their feet on the bottom was like rough. They were used to walking around on sharp stuff.
Was part of that.
Us have soft feet.
No, I was part of that generation. You would not catch me with shoes up until I was about 15. I was always finding a way to take off my shoes.
I remember now at IMAX, we would always see people coming in without shoes.
Oh my god, I used to be disgusted.
I'm like, you're in a movie theater. You're not at home. All right, put on your shoes. There's one dude in particular. He always came with his shoes off.
Yeah, that was bothersome. People, just wear your shoes. Like in public spaces, like fucking Target. That place is disgusting.
Well, also on the city streets too. Like listen, girls who are going out here to the club. I know I know the heels hurt. I get that. But bring your flats. Bring some flip flops. Or if you really want to be styling and profiling, just wear sneakers with your your club outfit or whatever. Do whatever you need to.
No, because here's the thing.
Don't walk around barefoot out in these city streets. That's how you catch hepatitis. Okay.
I will say bring flats because I did that for 2020 New Year's. When me and Jonathan went to that, I wore those heels from 7 o'clock up until 2 a.m. I stayed in those heels. Why? Because they went with the dress. I never wear heels, which is a bad idea to wear heels when you don't wear heels. Or heels. I fucking popped a blood vessel in my foot. But damn it, if I didn't, I did. It was fine. I'm fine. But damn it, if I didn't look good in those shoes, and they stayed on my feet the entire night.
I remember we walked. Or did we?
We had to walk to. Yeah, you gave me a ride home. I did bring flats. I was smart. I brought sandals. But I felt bad because I was taking these like shuffling baby steps because my feet hurt so bad. And poor Jonathan already walks faster than me because you're so much taller than me. Had to like slow down to like the slowest pace I think you've ever walked because I was like moving like this. I look like one of those wind up toys because of how bad I had fucked up my feet. That for 3 days after, I had like a special little pillow under my desk at work. I was in so much pain. They're like, what? And I'm like, I looked good. I'm like, it went with the outfit. I waited till everybody was gone, and then I brought up the flats.
Ladies, like, I understand, like, the heels are not comfortable. They weren't built to be comfortable. They were built to be stylish.
No, you don't understand until you gotta protect pop your feet. A blood vessel in your foot to look good.
Like, I do understand the fact of the matter is that if you are like having a hard time in your heels because the night's been long, you've been standing and dancing with your girls, having a good time, bring your flats. Don't walk around in these streets out here without shoes, because I'm telling you now, you're gonna mess around and get poked by a needle or some broken glass, or worse, just step in something that's got some bacteria. Next thing you know, you got gangrene on your foot, got to get your foot cut off. All I'm saying is that there's a multitude of things that could happen when you walk around in the city of Seattle without your shoes at nighttime. Don't do it.
I will say, even with the heels, I was still not as tall as Jonathan. I was still there was a significant height difference.
Well, you know, breaking away from this PSA real quick, back to Prey. So,
yeah, the movie we're reviewing.
I know, we were so far left.
We went from building fires to going on reality TV to Naked and Afraid to foot stuff to mansplaining by Jerome.
I may not be as good as Naru, and I can't.
I am not mansplaining. I'm just saying. I'm trying to help. Because too many.
That was a little mansplaining. There was a little
mansplaining. But listen, I mean, I don't know. Your advice was just to suffer it out because you look good. All right.
No, I said, well, look, if they work and you're willing to deal with the pain, ladies rock it, because I did. I also had a nice little hat that gave me a veil, and I felt like I was watching somebody's funeral, which also gave me great vibes, because like a hat can also make so much difference. I felt like that person watching a funeral from like the sidelines, and you don't know why they're there, but you know there's a significant reason they're there. It was a fun night. I was also super drunk that. No, I liked her character. I liked all their characters going back to the movie. I think they were all well placed.
She went from I was super drunk that night. Naru, I really like the guy.
Dude, that one guy gave me like the strongest drink because it was a hibiscus drink.
Yeah, I had that one too.
Yeah, it was a hibiscus drink, and I made a comment that
it had vodka. It had
gin. Those are drinks which I'm not used to drinking gin in general. I made a comment about how much I love hibiscus, and my sister said it tasted like dirt, and he's like, "Oh, we'll show her." Just like he did that long ass pour thing, and I was like, "Ooh, you're gonna show her, but I'm gonna be on the floor." And then Tevin got a drink. I
think after that is when I had stopped, because I'm like, I know.
See
that even though it's a couple hours later, I'm gonna be having to drive home.
And then Tevin had a free drink too, but he doesn't drink, so he gave me his drink. And that was good night. That's why I didn't feel the pain until 3 days later.
Back to
I don't know. I'm sorry for the mansplaining. It's just I've worked in security for many events at the Mopop, and you know, you feel like you shouldn't have to say those things. But then I've seen a lot of girls where I've had to get a lot of band-aids because they took the shoes off, and then some other girl wearing heels stepped on their foot, you know, in the middle of the dance floor and stabbed basically their foot with their heel.
That's true. That
so I had to get a band-aid. So I'm like, it's why I felt the need to say this PSA, because I'm like, I'm not trying to say y'all can't do what you want to do. I'm just saying I've seen a lot of accidents. And that could have been avoided.
If you're wearing flats are thinner materials, which I wonder. Because it actually shows. It was very interesting. Her boots, when she rolled them down and she had like this wound and stuff, her boots were really cool the way they were designed, because they were very thick on the bottom, but it seemed to be thinner, like material or leather at the top, which allowed her to move a lot easier. And with that, I think she was able to run faster than most, especially the French colonizers, because I know with French shoes, they did have heels. There is a connection. French shoes often had heels because men wanted to be taller. That's where the heels come from.
Well, there's also a sign of status too. Like it was like if you had higher heels, you were considered like wealthy.
And it makes me wonder. I wonder if the same predator, because it was shown in the end that there was three. I wonder if the same predator was the one attacking all of them. Because it almost
it was, because I think that predator may have been like in that region at the time, because the other two may have been in different spots, because like, you know, the world was very undiscovered at that time, so there was probably a lot of stuff that nobody
one
knew
went
about.
north,
or maybe
one went south, one went west.
yeah, could have been something like that where they're like cover more ground.
I thought it was because also with her boots, she was more protected than they were. A lot of them got their legs hurt immediately, and she had more protective against, plants and nature stuff. It goes back to having that knowledge of the area. None of them had the proper knowledge. None of them knew where to hide from the predator, but she did, and those like her clothing were protected her from like nature and stuff, from the elements. That's the word I was thinking of.
I think I think Amber Mid Thunder does a great job. She's very good as Naru. And even though it was a thing where I was like, you're not good at hunting just yet. I think my frustration was only in that like I was waiting for her to get to that point she gets to at the end of the movie where she realizes like you said, like it's not just about being a badass killer. It's about like you're hunting to not only survive but also protect those around you. Like that's why her brother hunts. It's like all these creatures that are dangerous out here, I have to kill them, because if I don't, they're going to attack the tribe of people who can't hunt, and they're going to get slaughtered. So it's like I have a responsibility to these people. And so it's just, there's a lot. That's why I liked her relationship with her brother too, in that like he was more of like a teacher than a brother who's just there to just, be annoying and be, because they could have so easily made his character that type of character of the one who's just like there to be the never impressed brother who's like tearing her down all the time. And it's like, nah, he's there to support her and be like, you can do it. You just gotta like get over yourself a little bit and like, and just do it. And not try to prove something, like just do it and do it well. And she does in the end. I think her arc is interesting. It's good. I just wish it had like it was a little more progressive instead of constantly repetitive, because he keeps telling her that over and over and over again throughout the movie until that last act where it finally becomes clearer. And I think the movie like becomes a little more nuanced near the end, and it's really good. I love that finale fight between her and the predator. I think it's really good. And and her battle with the camp and everything too, with the colonists, was good too.
I was really sad when Tabe died, and because, like you mentioned, he seemed like a very supportive brother. They didn't fall into that trope of like you can't do anything, just stay back at home, like do what you're good at. It was very like it felt protective, but also like I know what you're capable of. Also, when they started attacking her and beating her up because they thought she was lying about seeing the alien, that would have been my last straw. I would have said, "Forget y'all. Y'all can get eaten by the predator. I'ma leave. I'm gonna protect myself."
I do
respect though. She held her own though. She like, cause she thought for sure he was the baddest, and then she was just like that. She handed him his ass on a platter. And all of them just stand. And I'm glad all of them stood back, because I know in their minds they're just like, "Nah, I don't want a piece of that." He signed up for this. You gotta let him take this ass whooping by himself. He gotta be selfish with this
by a dirty shot, because the guy pushes her, turns around, and the other guy punches. So they took her by a dirty trick. That was like not fair play.
Yeah, like she I will say that was also good. The Amber Mid Thunder did a great job with all her action sequences. Like she was good with the choreo. Like she looked really good doing the moves and everything. It didn't look like anything was forced or that she didn't know what she was doing. So it was good stuff.
Yeah. Final thoughts? Oh, Alex.
No, I was just gonna say, are we doing final thoughts now?
Yeah. Yes. Final thoughts. Alex, would you like to go first in your final thoughts?
I enjoyed this film. I give it a B plus. I think you're right. It was a little slow. I think what they were trying to do was trying to pace it, but it did come off a little slow. But the acting is so well done. I love all the characters, and I like how they made the Predator look. They made him look more older. Like they didn't try to force newer technology into this film. You were right. He started off, this is this new planet. He doesn't know. He's checking out all these weapons. He's realizing, oh, I gotta use a spear. Oh, I gotta use a gun target with them. So I did like how they had the Predator interact with the people. I still stand by that. I think there was a message about colonization in this movie, but there is also the telltale sign of hubris within the predator and how humans think we are the biggest, baddest species when really we're just another game for hunt. I am gonna go watch the original Predator. I won't lie, because I was like, I don't really remember it, and I kind of want to watch it now.
Still good. Still holds up.
We'll see.
Like,
We'll
yeah,
see.
I mean, granted, it's a product of its time, so technology isn't what it is now, but I still love that movie.
I thought you were gonna say something like it's a little racist, but like
no, it is a little homophobic.
There it
and
is.
sexist for sure. Especially with Shane Black, all of his just to be more PG, his vagina jokes just flying off the wall. It's just like, God damn. Like clearly y'all are acknowledging the fact that you have no filter when women aren't around. So it's just
that's lovely.
Like, God damn it. But I mean, overall, it still holds up as far as a good sci-fi horror movie kind of type deal.
Anyway, so I might maybe now watch it. But it's still a good movie, and I think the way she uses her knowledge, that's also what I really liked about this film. They showcase her knowledge in other areas, and they do admire her for her use of medicine and her skills of gathering and her knowledge of like plants and things like that. And I think it was when they said, you are so good at everything. Why do you want to hunt? It's being told, oh, because I'm told I can't. But in the end, it is all her knowledge that she has built, all her skills in the other areas that allow her to be a good hunter. She was trying to ignore those skills, ignore that knowledge, and just solely be a hunter. But, when it comes to the predator was doing what she did, gaining knowledge, learning stuff, learning how certain animals, how certain people attack. So it was down to almost a game of wits in the end. And it was just, Mr. Cheddar. It was just in the end, I think a good film. I would recommend. And again, I enjoyed how the Predator looked and how he actually fit and actually looked like the original, or more so the beginning Predator than like Alien versus Predator style. Because that dude was all silver. It was chrome style SpongeBob going on.
Why is everything chrome?
So wait, what's your grade then?
I said
she said B plus.
Did you say? Oh, okay.
Yeah, I said B plus.
No, I heard all the thoughts. I didn't hear the number, the letter.
What about you, Jerome? How are you feeling this film?
I would give this also, or I probably give this a B, just average B. I think it's really good. We didn't talk a lot about the direction, but I think the direction in this film is also really good. The night scenes are handled so well; it didn't feel like I couldn't see anything. Dan Trachtenberg is a great director. He did 10 Cloverfield Lane before this movie, as far as like his own movies. So this one's just fantastic. And because I love 10 Cloverfield Lane, so no fears there. But also I think the whole thing with Naru's like arc, I think it just could have used a little more like pumping up in that second act. But once we hit the third act, like she like transforms entirely and becomes like super compelling, super interesting. I do love the pacing of her skills and stuff, and like you said, like seeing how she's like learning how to use her other sensibilities to be a better hunter compared to like the traditional ways that her brother knows. And so I think the movie overall does a great job having those moments and explaining all that stuff. It's just the character work with that main character that I thought just needed a little bit of touching up. Not that it was awful, just touching up like minor things. But overall, though, I love the Predator in this movie. I love the use of his abilities. Like, for example, like we have the tri-point laser, but it's not a laser blast, it's arrows, because they maybe didn't develop the lasers yet at that time. Like, and he doesn't have like the wrist explosion, to like self-destruct himself like in the first Predator. So I'm like, it's cool that they kind of have Predator technology, but it's more reduced. It's very old school for this creature. And that was very creative, I think, and interesting, especially because you're dealing with primitive technology for compared to us, with the main character. So it's cool that the alien threat, the Predator, also has primitive technology compared to its previous iterations too, that are in the future. So overall, I think this movie does a great job using its premise, using its setting, using its time period. And I would love to see more Predator movies in this time period. I don't think they can call them Prey. Like Prey 2,
Prey
Prey
2.
3. They probably have
It's
to call
the
them like
Prey.
something else.
The Prey.
But overall, I don't know what they would call it, but I'm glad that this movie came out because maybe it'll get people more excited to see more Predator movies again, because the Predator killed a lot of people's excitement for more Predator movies for a while. So I'm hoping this reinvigorates people to be like, nah, man, let's bring Predator back. Let's do more Predator movies, because Predator's cool. I love that creature. So
yeah, I'd probably have to agree with both of you guys. I'll probably say a B plus. It was pretty, like standard action sci-fi movie for me, but in a way I kind of appreciate that it didn't get too complicated, because when sci-fi movies just get too into the like, okay, now we got this side quest and this thing going on and this thing going on, then I just tap out. But with this, there was a clear mission, there was a clear goal, there was a clear start to finish. And with that, I appreciate. What were you gonna say, Alex?
No, I wasn't gonna say anything. I hit my mic by accident.
Oh, okay. There was a clear start to finish, but in a way, from where we started and where we finished, I wish we had gotten there maybe a little quicker. But I wish we had gotten there in a little bit more of an exciting way. Maybe if the movie would have been like, I don't know, 20 minutes longer. Usually I don't advocate for longer movies, but maybe if the movie might have been 20 minutes longer, we could have put another rise and fall in there. I think maybe that would have benefited the movie a little bit more. But regardless, I really enjoyed it. I liked the cast. I thought the characters were really endearing. I thought the Predator was very scary looking as well. And shout out to the work of what was his name again? The guy who performed as the Predator. And
Diego.
yes,
Danny DeLegro or Deliego. I don't know how to pronounce his last name. Sorry. Or Dane. Sorry. I don't know why I said Danny. It's Dane.
Maybe that's his nickname. Shout out to him for the I'm sure there was like mocap work in there or whatever. Yeah, I just overall enjoyed it, and I feel like there will be, especially with the reception to this movie, it's gotten pretty good reviews, and it being the most streamed premiere for Hulu ever. I think we're definitely going to see something in this similar vein, whether it be a sequel directly correlating to this movie or something similar. I think we're definitely going to see that in the near future.
Also, good on Disney, because I was worried about that, because when they bought 20th Century Fox, it came or the movie part of 20th Century Fox anyway, it came with a lot of this stuff like Predators and Alien, and a lot of people were like, what are you going to do with those franchises? Because they're not going on Disney Plus, but it's like they own Hulu, so that's the perfect place.
They should make an adult Disney
those movies
space
if they want to. That's what Hulu
That's
is.
technically like
more
Hulu.
or
Yeah,
less.
that's what Hulu.
That
kind
is
of
adult Disney.
because it's like owned by. It's sometimes they put things simultaneously on Hulu and Disney Plus.
Also, really quick, the faces I was making during your final thoughts, Jonathan, wasn't anything I was disagreeing with. I live across a gas station, and just a bunch of motorcycles were revving their engines, and I thought it was because they are trying to fix up some spots over there. I thought for a second they were drilling or sawing something. I was like, are they really starting construction again at 10 at night almost? So I was like, what
on
the
a
hell?
Saturday.
Yeah, I'm like, okay, it's just a bunch of motorcycles. So that's why. But that's
also,
true.
I was gonna say, if you want to support, thinking of Hulu, if you want to support other Native American projects, watch Reservation Dogs. Great show. It's technically a FX show, but it's on Hulu and it's pretty solid. I'm still going through the first season right now. But it's pretty good. It's by Taika Waititi, I think is the one who created it, if not is the main director on it. But it's solid, great Native American cast and representation as far as the culture and but in a modern day setting, you know, they're very modern kids. So watch that show if you want to watch some more like a coming of age story featuring Native American kids as the main characters.
Cool. Well, with that being said, that was our review of Prey. Let us know what you're thinking. You can follow us at The First Ones to Die on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, wherever. You can also email us thefirstones2die@gmail.com. Let us know your thoughts. Also, give us a like and subscribe if you're watching this on YouTube. Give us 5 stars if you're listening to this on your favorite audio streaming service app, whatever those things are. Yeah, give us some love. We'd love to hear your comments, and that would definitely help us reach more people. You can follow me at Jonathan Keys on Twitter, Instagram, wherever you please. Alex, where can people find you?
You can find me at Alex and Nobody on Instagram and on TikTok. On TikTok, you can also find the podcast where I make little jokes and references. And please do not take anything I say too hard on there. And the TikTok is The First Ones to Die. What about you, Jerome? Where are they finding you and all your satire?
Yeah, you can find me at Not Jerome Rhett on Instagram, as well as at Robozo Media and at Jerome_the_show to see all the other creative stuff I'm working on. And also, if you want to find all types of extra content that you can't get on all of our audio streaming platforms for The First Ones to Die, check out the YouTube channel. You can see all types of stuff up there. Stuff like gaming videos, vlogs, book reviews, mini reviews for stuff we don't have time to do a full podcast review of, all types of stuff. And also, we have our Twitch channel that we're going to be streaming video games on more frequently as time goes on. We're still kind of getting used to it. So there's no stuff up there just yet, still kind of learning and putting stuff up there, but trust me, we are going to have more content. We just did our first stream of Stray a few weeks back. That
video I meant to tell you, I tuned into that a little bit. Yeah. But I wanted to comment, but it would have required me to make an account.
Yeah, Taylor was there. He commented and stuff. So shout out to Taylor. Thank you for watching our stream. And we'll post on our Instagram, so and other social medias when that's happening. So check those out when you to stay up to date when we're streaming on Twitch live, and come play games with us and stuff. We're gonna play more Stray later, and then probably other games along the way. So
look, I even have the cat from Stray.
I have the dog. He was over here.
Oh look, he's like, I got some stuff to say. What do you guys say? What do you guys say?
Oh, he meowed on command.
Jerome, where's yours?
I don't have a pet.
Okay? We need to get you a stuffed animal or something.
I do not need make a pet.
If you got any recommendations,
gladly live in this world unloved by a small creature.
Not even a stuffed animal.
Sure.
All right.
Well, that's it. Have a good night /day /morning whenever you're listening to this, and we will catch you for the next one. Bye.
Bye. Bye.
Bye.
What are you looking at? I swear to God, if there's a spider.